Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you about the truth about motivation. So I've talked a lot about motivation in the past, but today I'm going to take a different approach because motivation seen in our contemporary culture is very unhealthy. And what do I mean by that? So like a lot of us are taught that we always need to be passionate about and like just fueled up to work out or to perform in sports or in school or at an event or at a somewhere where we need to perform, right? Like, for example, let's say you're getting ready for like a basketball game, right? And you want to like listen to music to get you pumped up, or you have to like drink a energy drink or take like a 5-hour energy, right? Or watch like a motivational speech, right? So these are all forms of outside like stimuli that we use to fuel us. However, it becomes problematic when we start to depend on these. So a healthy the way to be fully energetic, right? Because that's really what you're searching for. When you're looking for motivation, you're really just trying to get into a state of like high energy, right? So you can be ready to perform or do what you need to do. So a lot of us are unhealthy, right? So it's going to be difficult to wake up in the morning, for example, and just hop right out of bed if you've been abusing your body, if you've been watching pornography, if you've been just not exercising, just being lazy, taking drugs, hanging around the wrong people, working too many hours. It's very difficult to be motivated when you've burnt yourself out like that and you've over bombarded your human mind system / complex with outside stimulants and just a crazy amount of stimuli, basically. So if you wake up, like, for example, when you were a child, when you were in your adult, I would say probably early teenage to like, I would say like from like 5 to like 12, 13, 14 maybe, you had like, all of us had like boundless amounts of energy, really. I remember like after dinner, when I used to like enjoy playing catch with my dad, like football, or even like basketball, I'd want to like go out and shoot baskets with my dad after dinner. And I had energy to do that, and I wanted to do that all the time. My dad, sometimes he wouldn't want to do it because he was tired. But I had endless amounts of energy, right? And I believe it was because my body hadn't been processed or hadn't been abused with all of the processed garbage that we feed ourselves, that we inject, that we take, right? And with that being said, if your body is in a state of perfect health, for the most part, right? None of us are perfectly clean, but you're gonna have energy to do. You're gonna have motivation and energy to do what you need to do, right? And a big thing is when I talk about like pornography and food, right? Not only does that have I mentioned this in another video, but not only does that have a physiological effect on you, meaning it drains you. Food obviously takes water out of you, and pornography, you're draining nutrients when you release. The dopamine, right? So if you have a healthy amount of dopamine, you're naturally going to want to be doing things, right? You're naturally going to want to get up and go for a walk, or just socialize, or work on something, or write, or do whatever you like to do. You're gonna naturally want to do that if your dopamine receptors are healthy. But if they're burnt out because you've been watching too much pornography, you've been smoking too much, you've been overeating, you've been just constantly feeding a human mind system with just an absurd amount of stimuli, then you're not going to want to do anything, because your motivation, dopamine is linked with motivation, right? If you have a healthy amount of it, then you're going to want to do stuff, right? And so I'm not saying we're perfect. Like, for example, I like to listen to music before I go to the gym, but I'm not doing that every single time. I don't need it to go to the gym, right? It helps me, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, I just like the music because it's good music. I don't like, before I go to the gym, I'm not like, oh, I need to listen to this song to get ready for this workout. No, I just enjoy the song. And I'm driving, so I like to listen to music. That's just one example. But if you need music, or you need like energy drinks or coffee or food or these like dense substances to fuel you, or even like motivational speeches, right? Like, these people, like, it's crazy how many people need to watch like Eric Thomas or Tony Robbins, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're, like I said, it's all about dependency. If you constantly need that to work out or to perform in school or at your sports events or anything for that matter, or you need it to focus, you have a problem, right? So we need to get back to the root, our roots basically. And the root problem is that we're not healthy. As children, we could get away with it because we didn't have that much toxicity built up, right? But as we get older and we continue to indulge and overeat and overuse, poor substances, it becomes very problematic for us. And that's why I think a lot of people are just plain out lazy. They just don't have any drive, because their system has just been so bombarded, it's been so abused, that every ounce of life force that they had when they were a child has been just completely stripped away from them. And they're just left with basically nothing. They feel like their life force has been taken from them. They feel like there's a void. They don't know how to rekindle their love for life, their drive. And I believe it's due to the fact that we have completely destroyed ourselves in terms of our bodies. And that's not to say that's the only thing. However, it's a major part. Like there's like if you've been traumatized or you've been if you've been like if you've been in a relationship and you're heartbroken, or what else was I gonna mention? Or if you're just like around toxic people that are not very life affirmative, they're not moral, they're not pushing you to be better, and you're not getting that sense that these are the right people that I need to surround myself with, then that can have an effect too. But for the most part, if you're a healthy individual, if you're getting enough sleep, if you eat right, if you're if you're not draining your life force watching all these sexual videos online, or just being a complete sex addict, you should be fine. You shouldn't have to sit there and depend on food or stimulants or music or motivational speeches to get you out of bed or to get you to go to the gym, right? I used to do that, right? Because when I started working out back in 2014, I didn't really know what to do, so I kind of I started watching like motivational videos, because like I was basically just starting out, just started working out, so I didn't really have the tenacity and the go get it sort of mentality that I needed to really start and get consistent. But that's just motivation can be useful only for an extent of time, right? Like if you're just starting out something, maybe it's a good idea for you to use stimulants or watch inspirational content, but you shouldn't have that as a long-term strategy for performing. It's not healthy and it will burn you out. So that's basically the moral of the story. Try to get enough sleep. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with sleep and food. If you are balanced in those two areas, it makes life much more enjoyable, and it also allows you to have more energy. If you have more energy, you're not going to need to be motivated. You don't need to look all over the place for inspiration. I mean, it's good. Like I said, if you're feeling down, like, okay, for example, I'm gonna continue on here. There's times where, you know, like I'm in a pretty healthy body, right? Like I take care of myself, but there are times where I wake up and I just don't want to get out of bed. Maybe my body's just detoxing, or I just didn't get enough sleep the night before, and maybe, you know, one of those days I'll have to, and I want to work out that day. Maybe I'll listen to music, or maybe I'll have an energy drink. But for me to do that as a long-term strategy, as an everyday thing, that's not healthy, and you are going to burn out your adrenals. And it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. So take care of your bodies. Don't abuse your brain with garbage media and addictive chemicals and substances like pornography, weed, caffeine, nicotine. Your dopamine will be, if you avoid all of those things, if you avoid alcohol as well, your dopamine should be perfect. You really shouldn't be depressed. Depression is truly a byproduct of just being overstimulated, and to an extent trauma. But for the most part, it's our attachment to outside substances. So if you balance your dopamine, if it's, you know, if you have an adequate production of it, and your body's healthy, you're getting sleep, you're eating well, and you're not abusing yourself with substances, you should be fine. Like, you shouldn't have to sit there and look for outside stimulus. That's it. So I'm talking in circles. I think you guys get the message. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to leave it down below. And as always, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.